Chair, if we were to get the actual figures for this wet hire,
Kayondo, listen to the witness.
the wet hire cost is 3.7 billion, whereas purchasing reduces annualized cost to 2.5 billion after considering depreciation, fuel, and maintenance. Annualized purchase cost, including fuel, operations, maintenance, and depreciation, is 2.5 billion. So the initial capital outlay is 4.2 billion. So still, we did this assessment and calculation. If you went into purchase, you would reduce the cost by 32%. That is the assessment that was made.
Do you mean this is information that was availed both to the Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance?
Chair, they have this information, including the problems associated with the hire before the Chiteze debacle. Mr. Chairman, I wrote personally to the Prime Minister, and this information was forwarded to the Prime Minister, and how Nippon has made a kill out of this hire business. Because you're asking which company, I was talking about Mantra. Nippon enjoys monopoly there. Right from inception, when Chiteze was removed from Otada, Otada was the one managing it before, the former MP. Now, when it came back to KCCA, we decided to hire Nippon equipment. Nippon has been enjoying a monopoly all through. So the entire budget almost has been going to Nippon. Yet when you go to Chiteze, and we wanted an audit to be conducted, if indeed there was any serious maintenance, the justification given for hire is that maintenance is rather expensive on our side. And also protection of our equipment is problematic. I have an audit report here.
How problematic is it? What do you mean by protection?
Yes, I'll tell you this, Chair. I have the Auditor General report of 2011-2012, which was assessed by our, processed by our Internal Public Accounts Committee, and they have presented the latest report, 2025, January 2025. They indicated that our weighbridge at Chiteze was stolen by KCCA officials and took it to Rwanda.
To Rwanda?
They stole it and took it to Rwanda. This is Auditor General and Public Accounts Committee. I have the report here. We have had occasion to discuss it internally with the ED and the entire team. We even had a retreat on this audit report. We went to Entebbe and said, can we take action to fight against this kind of thuggery?
Mr. Chairman,
the officials took the weighbridge.
Clarification.
They took it to Rwanda and sold it to Rwanda. Yes?
Clarification.
They are known. They are known. Those who
Mr. Chairman,
stole
clarification.
So the problem with the hire, the problem with the purchase, again, is the protection. You will purchase and the equipment will be sold. Like this weighbridge was sold by KCCA officials to Rwanda. How they even crossed the border and took the weighbridge.
Mr. Chairman, clarification. Clarification.
No, it was...
clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, clarification.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I have two issues.
Please share that report
for the road mayor to...
Somebody pick it.
To clarify. Mr. Chairman, one, the originator of the budget of the authority should be the authority where the road mayor is the chairperson. So, what is the role of the authority, the council, to the budget? And what did they recommend? Did they recommend hire or purchase? That we want those evidence from the council to see if someone worked contrary to what council, the authority decided. That's one. Two, you have talked about safety. Can we get a police reference report? You have, at any time it came to your knowledge, you are accountable. You should have reported to police. Yeah, so the final point, Mr. Chairman, is that the cost of hire depends on when you repay. If you hire and you are going to pay in the first quarter, it's different from when you are not going to pay within 6 months. So that one...
I think on the last one, either way it is balanced by the fact that you can buy
Yes.
on higher purchase terms. But just listen to this, the report that has been given to me, that in the year 2011-2012, Auditor General's report, Toma, 2 weighbridges were stolen by KCCA officials from the garbage collection site at Incites and sold in Rwanda. A memorandum which was received by the CPAC dated 22nd February 2012 showed that a brand new weighbridge was stolen and replaced with an old one, an old and dysfunctional weighbridge. To date, there is no functional weighbridge to measure the quantities of garbage delivered at the landfill. Contained in this memorandum was also a recommendation that the Office of ED and Police work hand in hand with the former Assistant Town Clerk, KCCA, Kawempe, to lead to the perpetrators who sold the weighbridges. However, this matter has since stalled and currently no efforts are going on to recover these weighbridges. Recommendation: the Executive Director through the Legal Department should direct KCCA CID to follow up this matter and apprehend those involved in the scam for purposes of recovering the weighbridges. Mwadanku Nyingi, the weighbridges were stolen from your constituency.
Thank you,
Please
Chair.
explain.
Chair, I'm also here to seek answers from KCCA. And Chair, starting from this document titled the Incites Landfill Actual Expenditure. Now,
First, let's admit the document named copy named the Kampala Capital City report of the Kampala Capital City Public Accounts Committee, dated or issued in January 2025, which is admitted accordingly on our record. And technical, please, you need to go through this and process it.
thank you, Chair. Now, Chair, my principal concern is that whereas we are looking at the figures and the cost of hiring, to which I agree that the best approach will be to procure. But alleging that this is an expenditure on Incites landfill, when for the several times I've personally visited the landfill when it was operational, even at the tragedy, KCCA had no machinery. We need to interrogate the would-be hiring agreements, how these machineries were hired, how they were deployed, because they are saying it is, yet on the ground there was no machinery, even at the time of the tragedy. We need to interrogate, were they only paying, but these machineries were not actually deployed? Because we have questions on the ground, whether these machineries were deployed on the ground. When it comes to the stealing and the thuggery of government property, I think, Mr. Chair, using your powers, we can even arrest some of the thieves now. Because the Lord Mayor is saying the names are known, and they are officers of KCCA. Would the Lord Mayor give us the names? And, Chair, since the report has been admitted,
Can you show me the thieves now?
the Lord Mayor said the names are known. So the Lord Mayor could assist the committee with the names. Chair, you make an appropriate ruling. But, Chair, principally,
I will make a ruling.
Principally, the deployment of this machinery on the ground must be interrogated. They may be paying machinery which are not brought on the ground. At least for Incites landfill, even when a tragedy befell, there would be slide. All rescue machinery was brought from outside, Uganda Police and other agencies. Where is this machinery as alleged?
Maybe, Lord Mayor, who did you hand over the weighbridge to? The weighbridge.
Well,
Bridges, there were 2.
There were 2.
Who did you hand them
No, they
over?
were installed at Incites.
Yes.
When they were installed there, it was at a time when there was that
Procedure, Mr.
transition
Chairman.
from Otada
Yes.
to KCCA now managing it directly.
Yes.
And during that process, those officials got those weighbridges, and
Now, who are the officials?
you see, Chair, that's why I made reference to the law. And
Yes.
in the initial proceedings here indicated, under Section 58, subsection 10 of KCCA Act, the Executive Director and I are mandated to implement the recommendation of the Auditor General
Yes.
and the Public Accounts Committee. So
Yeah.
when we went to Entebbe to go through this,
Yes.
we noted Entebbe, clause by clause. We looked at the recommendation there. It was very clear that the director legal should work with the DPP. No,
Police CID.
with the police CID and cause the arrest. Now the director legal is here.
Procedure, Mr. Chairman.
And here we have
Procedure.
police.
Procedure, Honorable.
Procedure, Mr. Chairman.
Procedure, Quizera.
The Chairman, I want you to invoke your powers and you put the road mayor on oath because the statement is making a very important and grave
Procedure.
and we'll help this committee. Wouldn't it be right, Mr. Chairman, for the road mayor to be put on oath? And during the presentation, he makes fresh submission and indicates, even mentions the people who he knows that took the weighbridge and sold to Rwanda.
Information.
Because this information is very important for
Information.
police. I thank you.
Chair was offering him information.
I have to rule on the procedure.
Chair, I was offering him information that the road mayor's document has been admitted by the committee.
Yes.
So we can ably refer to it.
We will read the report. The information is giving us, even when he's not on oath, is still credible. If you read the rules, by the way, you go on oath where someone has contradicted himself. It is not in every case where you think evidence will be important. But even evidence which is not on oath is important. Honorable Bakabulindi.
Thanks very much, Chair. We seem to be taking long and mixing issues. Lord Mayor made a statement that he cannot even go in for the policy of purchasing because they are going to be stealing. Isn't it? No, wait. And then you are saying, you know the people of KCC who stole and took to Rwanda. Oh, wait. To me, without even wasting time, why don't you mention the names so that we finish that one and we deal with another area? We're just rotating around the names, the KCC, are they still there or they left? Mention the names. If the legal department which we are referring to, then after mentioning the names, we shall ask the legal officer, where are your colleagues? How far did you go?
Okay. Lord Mayor, would you answer that?
With all due respect, Chair, I wanted to restrict myself to the mandate I have under the KCCA Act, Section 58, subsection 10, to implement the resolution, the recommendation of the Public Accounts.
Director Legal,
Yes.
you were given instructions to work with the CID to cause the apprehension. Where are your results?
Honorable Chairman, it's true that during the, I think it was last year in the strategic planning retreat, when we were making reflections on where we've been and where we're going, the Lord Mayor raised this issue, that 13 years ago, weighbridges were stolen from Kitezi, and there was an allegation that some of our staff then sold them, and the CID had been asked to do that investigation. Yeah, 13 years ago. So
about 2012.
Yeah, it's 13 years ago. So when he informed us of that, I committed to ask our current CID team to dig it up and give a report to management. This happened a few months ago. It was when we had the retreat. So this investigation is ongoing, but we can follow up and find out how far it has gone. But for now, I don't have any latest update on that.
If you mark the words you have used, Mr. Frank Rusa, we can follow up.
We will.
So that means you've not been following up.
No, when that instruction was made, CID was informed. So CID has not yet updated us.
Can you share with us a reference and the instructions to CID?
We have got a CID unit attached to KCCA.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Can you give us evidence of that instruction?
Okay, we'll do that.
Was it verbal?
We called for a meeting and had a conversation, but it was recorded in a minute. in minutes of the meeting.
Let's have that by close of business today. I had Honorable Mzale.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, this is an incident that happened in
12.
2012. And the reports are out in 2025. The PAC report. So, the CPAC report. So, Mr. Chair, I need to be perhaps helped to understand what was the reason of failure to identify the problem there and then, where we have so many departments responsible for management.
Proceed, Honorable Mzale.
Mr. Chairman, my concern is one. The incident happens in 2012. It's being reported on 2025. I just want to understand what happened in there, because we have the internal auditors system, we have the one who was responsible
actually,
for that.
to supplement yours for contextualization, the report manages to even identify where the weighbridges were sold. That would call for intervention of even Interpol.
Mr.
Because
Chairman,
wait,
Chairman, there I need some clarification. There.
And by the way,
When was
the weighbridges went through your constituency.
But when was it noticed? When was it noticed that it is missing?
You see,
That-
the problem we are dealing
When?
with, why it's bigger and more complex, is that this was identified by the auditors. Was it auditors? First, it was identified by the auditors, by the Auditor General. Then it goes to CPAC, the City Public Accounts Committee. Now, the tracking would involve CID interfacing with the auditors to give them part of the information they received, how they even came to identify where the weighbridges were sold. CID, working with ESO and Interpol, would even go and identify where foreign relations, that you have your property stolen and found in another jurisdiction, in a neighboring jurisdiction. Now, we do not even know whether where they were sold is a facility managed by the government or by a private player like ours here. I think it is bigger than that. Frank Russo, would you call your CID officer who is handling this matter now? We will give you a minute to excuse yourself. Call that CID officer or the head to come here now. Thank you very much and welcome to Parliament, where you recall that we made some strides last time, where we discussed and ended at the issue of outdoor advertisers. I don't think we can do sufficient justice without inviting the National Outdoor Advertising Contractors Association Limited. So, clerk, make arrangements to invite them so we can also interface with them. It would be unfair to discuss them and their business without hearing them. So we shall have occasion to interface with them, make arrangements to meet them next week as we move to the next. We have quite a number of issues, but we shall prioritize the issues to be dealt with. I think we shall move in this order. We need to deal with 1.6 for those who have the Auditor General's report by KCCA. The matter of solid waste management in Kampala, from the perspective of the Auditor General's report, stems from Section 17 of the Local Government's Kampala City Council Solid Waste Management Ordinance 2000. And the Auditor General identified a number of gaps which he reproduced at pages 5 all through to page 9. So we would invite you to look at page 5 of the Auditor General's report and page 9 of the management responses. The Auditor General noted that there is lack of equipment and leachate treatment plant for waste management. And he says this: I noted that the authority lacked equipment and plant such as bulldozers, excavators, compactors, garbage trucks, litter bins, and leachate treatment plant, among others, for management of solid waste in Kampala, and consequently, Uganda shillings 1.54 billion was spent on hire of equipment. I further noted that the authority planned to buy 50 garbage skips during the year to improve the sanitization of the city and ensure cleanliness. However, this was not implemented. I also observed that the unit lacked adequate staff, since the structure allows for 13 staff, including the 5 divisions, but only 2 staff are substantive: the manager solid waste and environment, who has just introduced himself here, and one other officer of solid waste. Lack of adequate equipment, staff, leachate treatment plant may hinder achievement of KCCA's mandate of ensuring a clean and habitable city, and may pose environmental and health risks to the communities. Accounting Office explained that the funds allocated are not adequate to invest in procurement of new equipment and plant, as well as maintain the waste management facilities and fleet. In alignment with the KCC's strategic plan 21-25, the authority aims to achieve 80% safely management waste. So, regarding staffing, discussions are underway to increase the authority's wage bill to enable fill most of the vacant positions substantively. So, and when it gets here, management's response in the written responses to our questions, management stated this: management has taken note of this. The prevailing challenges in waste management are due to inadequate equipment, staffing, and lack of funds for investment into modern waste dispose and treatment facility. Limited funding has hindered the capital investments into alternative sanitary landfill, recycling machinery and plant, as well as maintenance of existing facilities and fleet. KCCA has procured land in Buyala, where new landfill is now located, as mobilization for modern waste management facility goes on. To improve the level of cleanliness, various measures have been instituted. Campaigns for better solid waste management practices at household and community level. The cleaning has been organized in circles under reservation schemes, thus ensuring timely payment of cleaners, and then Dundu land utilization. We will come to Dundu. So, let's interrogate that. Before I go to the accounting officer, from the policy perspective, Lord Mayor, do you have anything to tell us? And as a lawyer, you know what we say, something useful.
Yes, Chair. Issues that require the attention of this House, or this committee, are essentially related to administration and management. And I intend to furnish you with some information in addition to what is captured in the report. That is after the ED has made an explanation, because there are a few things which are not captured there. I'll just supplement what she'll have to say. But at a policy level, Chair, we are still grappling with the problem which is also not captured here. This Cosase committee made a recommendation to plenary, which was adopted, that actually we must have one landfill for the entire Kampala metropolitan. And that resolution was made by Parliament a year ago, no, almost a year now, because we're almost having an anniversary of the Chitez incident, which happened on 10th August. And shortly thereafter, there was that policy directive that was made by Parliament that we should close down all these scattered landfills in the metropolitan and have only one. Yes, for us, we procure 230 acres as indicated in the report, but we are yet to work out a mechanism on how that is going to be.
Are you also aware that this land is under challenge? We have received a letter from Kabega, Bogezi, and Bukenya advocates, also making a challenge. Actually, this letter was written to the executive director. Are you in receipt of the same? You could have a look at this and copy it to me.
I am not aware.
Incidentally, for you, it's not. Idi, would you look at this letter and advise if you have received it? It came? Last week. So I just wanted to align you. Have you discussed it at management with the authority? Not yet. Okay.
But the point I was making at a policy level, Mr. Chairman and honorable members, is that we are a bit constrained to implement that resolution of Parliament, largely on account of want of adequate funding, because there is no budget allocation made to that effect. And actually what is happening right now at Buyala, we are just dumping there without any serious management of the facility. Yet we wanted to have it developed as a modern recycling facility, modern plant, but the funds are not there. So as of now, it would appear we are creating another disaster at Buyala on that 230-acre land. And that is the biggest problem we are grappling with right now. And of course, I intend to also speak to issues related to the PPP arrangement, where we also have some contradictions here and there.
Okay, we will listen to that. You will notice that this land is already caveated from the search that is attached here to the letter of the said lawyers, as I mentioned, dated 30th July 25. You find that it is, this is the land at Namwabula. Namwabula Mawokota. The owner is David Luwaga Derrick, and it is caveated by Sergo Matthias. So, ED, is this land registered in KCCA's name?
Thank you, Chairperson. In the process of procuring land, KCCA did due diligence. We wrote to the custodian of land, the Ministry of Lands, Housing and Urban Development. We requested for boundary opening. The reports we have on record are two, opening the boundary of that land, and they all point to ownership by Lukwago. By Lukwago, the vendor who sold us the, yes.
Is it David Lukwago Derrick?
I know at least the name Lukwago. We have not transferred the land in the names of KCCA simply because we agreed on a payment plan of 12 months and an initial payment of 15% of the total sum.
How much did you buy the land?
The land was bought at 16.1 billion.
How much have you paid so far?
We have so far paid 2.34.
Okay.
Which we have paid only 15%, and the agreement was when we pay 15%, we only make use of 50 acres as we process payment for the next 12 months. And that accounts for the reason why we have not gone full blast into utilization of the whole piece.
Maybe you have not generated enough waste to utilize the entire piece.
Chair, that piece is not going to be covered by waste. As alluded to by my Lord Mayor, we are going to have a waste management facility, waste management and resource recovery facility at that site. Okay. We are not going to dump traditionally.
Have you been concerned that it's caveated and you are due to make another payment?
The letter came in last week, and as usual, when we get such letters, we write to the concerned ministries to get the background information, then we engage the party.
I thought you would have obtained the background information before.
As I said, Chair, at the time of procurement, we obtained the background information. All people who contested the land, including NFA, we wrote to them to provide proof of ownership. We even wrote to the Solicitor General, who also wrote to them. All those who queried that land at the time of procurement, we wrote to them. There was even a court case which was going on that particular land. We waited until it was determined, then we concluded. So this one came in last week, and we are going to look at it.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, can I get some clarification on
Yes, Honorable Kwizera.
The Chairman, thank you very much. The Chairman, you asked the issue of policy in regard to this matter. The Chairman realized that much of the solid and non-solid waste is, much of it comes from outside the city. And the road mayor knows that the act itself was introduced to attract attention and get corresponding resources for a special purpose. What does the road mayor say about this management of Incites and other areas in view that now the city is managed under central government and is given a priority in terms of resources? Because, Mr. Chairman, we don't want to think that the managers of Kampala State Authority have failed something when the resources
were informed.
Mr. Chairman, some clarification on equipment. Mr. Chairman, since you said that I shouldn't go, I want to get some information from
you. Cannot leave the basement before you learn English.
Now, so what I'm saying
is
that when these people appear.
By the way, for the basement, I forgot to notify you that one of the activities is shaving off that beard.
But have you learned another language other than Uganda? So, Mr. Chairman, this entity that is appearing before us, they are coming for accountability. So we look at machinery and land under assets. So when you are talking about a staffing shortfall, you have to tell the committee that I have so many people, their shortfall was so much, and the cost was so much, we budgeted and you never got the money. So when you look at their page 58 on the assets, there is land for about maybe 482 million or billion. But what's important is you go to page 59 of the Auditor General's report, and you will find that other machinery equipment, 10 billion. So they would need to tell us that we needed so much, we spent so much here. So can the ED?
Yes.
Can the ED tell us what machinery did they buy? What did they need? What's the shortfall?
No, there is a substantive query on machinery. There is also a substantive query on staffing. So we'll get there. Especially now that I guided that you're not leaving the room. Thank you.
But you are overprotecting them.
From
they
what?
Are the ones who have talked about machinery, we are about machinery.
No, machinery, there is a substantive item. We will get there. Proceed, madam. Maybe we want you to share with us the same documents that you shared with your political leadership that show efforts of trying to get the things that you want.
You see, Mr. Chairman, even if they say they did not have machinery, it should be in their asset register and say, we had so much, this one was not there. Second, they must show to us that they were in touch with the Ministry of Finance by way of writing.
That's exactly the guidance I've just given her. We will have the same documentation by close of business.
The documentation on the funding gaps, which also includes these machines.
All right.
Yeah, then the issue of procurement of land, and then mobilization of the waste management facility.
Just a minute, Chair. I don't know at what stage I will come in to furnish information like on that issue of machinery. I don't know. Most obliged.
Chair, on procurement of land, I have already explained how far we have gone, and efforts are underway to mobilize whoever is going to invest in the waste management and resource recovery facility in Buyala. We received 52 unsolicited bids, which we are processing at the moment. The Ministry of Finance is studying them to look at their economic viability in as far as this country is concerned. And when we get that report, we will proceed with the procurement.
Lord Mayor.
On the question of the equipment and management of the funds we have, yes, Chair, we still have some issues we are grappling with. And this is where I wanted to interest the committee in some of these issues to see how they can be adequately addressed. Chair, our budget currently for maintenance, previously of maintenance of Incites, because right now it should be maintenance of Buyal, is 3.1 billion. Yes, Chair. For record purposes, if I can furnish you with the breakdown, Chair, I have the documentation here, and we have processed some copies for members. You see how interventions can be made. The Auditor General talks of hiring the equipment at 1.5, it's just one page document, Chair.
I now have people who read these things related to waste management, people who can read them better, like Honorable Kayondo. And Mlima Mayuni, because he is also the custodian of the garbage you left in Dundu. Are you still dumping in Dundu?
No, we have never dumped there.
You never dumped there?
No, no. not at
Okay.
all. Chair, if you could look at that document,
Yes.
the breakdown for the expenditure.
Did you say 3.1?
Yes, I said the
But what I
3.1.
see is 4.189.
That was explained, Chair, that there was that money which was always being rolled over, 1 billion,
Oh.
yeah, which was never remitted to us, but they kept on rolling it over. So the actual amount is 3.1 billion. So we have always had issues with this. And you'd see, Chair, the biggest challenge we have now is that we are just hiring equipment. And the government has not provided us with the funds to purchase our own equipment. And the hire is quite exorbitant. It is high. You can see, Chair.
I think this is where Honorable Kwizera's question would come into play, where he would say, maybe I would modify it in Rufumbira English. How much do you need to buy equipment? And if, because that we would be able to know that if we got this 3.1, in 5 years we would have reached the same amount for purchasing our own equipment. Do you have a budget?
Yes, Chair, we have interrogated that matter internally, and the ED and her team have furnished us with information to explain the cost of hiring vis-a-vis purchase, of the cost of purchasing. And I have the figures here, Chair.
Let's have the figures on our record and in our ears.
And I thought this would be important that the ED here gives you this information, Chair. It's vital.
No, it's okay. You
But
can assign to anybody.
yes, I'll give this information to ED. The cost of
Executive Director, what is the cost of hire vis-a-vis purchase?
A chairperson, at the site where we manage waste from, we use a number of machinery. For instance, we require a chain bulldozer with low ground pressure, hydraulic chain excavator. We require a land compactor, a water bowser because of the dust which comes out, and then a chain bulldozer. If we are to hire, for hiring these machines, we would require 3.715362000, 3 billion point 6.7 in summary. Yes. Per annum for hire. Now, considering the fact that purchase is a one-off, if we are to purchase, we would require 4.5 billion shillings to purchase, to purchase the equipment I've talked about.
so, Chair. Okay.
I think, colleagues, you need to understand this, that annually we spend 3.7 billion to hire, but we need 4.5 billion to buy the entire set of what they need. You're saying no? Honorable Mzale, you know something about garbage?
No, about equipment.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Chair, I want the Director Engineering to answer me, because I understand much as the ED is here, but this is to do with engineering. So I think the engineer may be
I will
better
not
placed.
allow you to go there, because I will not allow you to use my chair where you're seated. to issue a vote of no confidence
No, Chair.
in the ED. No, on behalf of the ED. No, the ED is here. She has a team. It is her to look into her people where she needs help. You cannot identify that help.
Okay.
You are ruled out of order.
Okay, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Mr. Chairman, well, I'm trying to look at the rates here. Number one would be who is the service provider for these equipments?
Okay, that's a good question. ED, you will answer it. Next question.
The next question, of course, looking at the rates here, they're almost times 2 the market rates.
Which rates are you talking about? You mean here?
Yes.
Why 2?
Mr. Chairman, the biggest provider of machinery in this town is Mantruck and Fulham. And an excavator with the taxes inclusive, the maximum will be 1.4. Without taxes, they will give you at 1 million. That's per day, dry rate.
You mean the biggest service provider of this machinery for hire or sale?
Both. Mantruck does
Mantruck
both.
hires also?
Yes.
Okay.
And the other one would be Fulcrum.
What happens if they put up the advert and Mantruck doesn't respond? Thinking aloud.
Mr. Chairman.
Especially given now that we do not have, yes, now that we do not have the, yes, Honorable Kayondo. I did not want, are you done, Honorable Muzali? Let Muzali finish, Kayondo
Not
come
yet,
in, the
Mr.
ED will
Chairman.
clarify.
Mr. Chairman, I was looking at all these equipments listed in here. The bulldozer is equal the same. It carries the same rate as an excavator. Water bowser, of course, they vary basing on their size, but equally this rate is extremely high. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, unless KCCA is not interested in owning equipment, but maybe the director engineering is doing a disservice to the institution. Otherwise, they would easily acquire equipment on lease without even paying cash.
That's the question I was going to ask the ED as she comes in to clarify after the Honorable Kayondo. That if you can buy land on hire purchase, what would stop you from buying equipment on the same terms, especially where you already have 3.1 billion that you can use in 1 year? I thought if you bought equipment on terms that we can pay you in 3 years, the same money you're using to hire, you would use it to buy and find it actually cheaper. Kayondo?
Chair, I think ED is hiding some information here.
Just bring out the information.
Yes, that's
but
the information. I
Don't
think
impute.
ED is hiding some information here.
Yeah, don't impute that
because
motive.
if you are talking of an excavator
Mm.
at 2.5 and you call that higher, no. Can you break down the hiring we are talking of here? Tell us the fuel, tell us the repairs. Is it included on this? Because if it is included on this, then you are reducing the cost of hire. If you are talking of the fuel, if you are talking of the repairs, then you are reducing the cost of hire. If you are talking of the lorry that delivers them to the site, so please be specific here. Is this 2.5?
I think your question is legitimate,
Please.
but the packaging.
No, I want to package it that way because I see she's not giving us.
You
she's giving
represent
us
some
the wrong-
island.
She's giving us the wrong impression. Because, no.
Chair, I ask for a clarification.
Okay.
No, I asked
Let's,
for clarification.
before the Honorable Muada comes in, let's hear the ED.
No, Chair, I'm finishing. Honorable Muzale was clear.
Yeah.
On the ground, you get an equipment at 1.5. That is higher. The consumption a day is 360 liters. We know the rate of repair. So please give us this information. Otherwise, this money should be added on this, so it shouldn't be 2.5. It's either 3 million or less. Please clarify on that.
Finished, but you inform the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, KCCA has budget lines. You'll find a budget line for oils and other things and fuel. These are dry rates. These are dry rates which are here. They do not include fuel. So that's the information I wanted to give my colleague. This doesn't have fuel. This is dry rate.
Chair, may I
And
be
this
allowed to
one-
Mr. Chairman,
clarify?
it's information.
No. Let's hear ED. You come in later. ED.
Chairperson, I would like to clarify or to add on to the information I gave that the hire includes, it is wet lease. It is wet lease. It also has operation and maintenance and insurance. Thank you.
But Chair, if we were to get the actual figures for this wet hire,
Kayondo, listen to the witness.
the wet hire cost is 3.7 billion, whereas purchasing reduces annualized cost to 2.5 billion after considering depreciation, fuel, and maintenance. Annualized purchase cost, including fuel, operations, maintenance, and depreciation, is 2.5 billion. So the initial capital outlay is 4.2 billion. So still, we did this assessment and calculation. If you went into purchase, you would reduce the cost by 32%. That is the assessment that was
Do you
made.
mean this is information that was availed both to the Prime Minister and the Minister for Finance?
Chair, they have this information, including the problems associated with the hire before the Chiteze debacle. Mr. Chairman, I wrote personally to the Prime Minister, and this information was forwarded to the Prime Minister, and how Nippon has made a kill out of this hire business. Because you're asking which company, he was talking about Mantra. Nippon enjoys monopoly there. Right from inception, when Chiteze was removed from Otada, Otada was the one managing it before, the former MP. Now, when it came back to KCCA, we decided to hire Nippon equipment. Nippon has been enjoying a monopoly all through. So the entire budget almost has been going to Nippon. Yet when you go to Chiteze, and we wanted anode to be conducted, if indeed there was any serious maintenance, the justification given for hire is that maintenance is rather expensive on our side. And also protection of our equipment is problematic. I have an audit report here.
How problematic is it? What
Oh,
do you
yes.
mean by protection?
Yes,
That it
I'll
would be
tell you
stolen?
this, Chair. I have the Auditor General report of 2011-2012, which was assessed by processed by our Internal Public Accounts Committee, and they have presented the latest report, 2025, January 2025. They indicated that our weighbridge at Chiteze was stolen by KCCA officials and taken to and took it to Rwanda.
To Rwanda.
They stole it and took it to Rwanda. This is Auditor General and Public Accounts Committee. I have the report here. We have had occasion to discuss it internally with the ED and the entire team. We even had a retreat on this audit report. We went to Entebbe and said, can we take action to fight against this kind of thuggery?
Mr. Chairman, some
The officials took the weighbridge.
clarification.
They took it to
Let
Rwanda and
him
sold it
first
to
explain.
Rwanda. Yes? They are
Clarification.
known. They are known. Those who
Mr.
stole
Chairman,
it.
clarification.
So the problem with the hire, the problem with the purchase, again is protection. You will purchase and the equipment will be sold. Like this weighbridge was sold by KCCA officials to Rwanda. How they even crossed the border and took the
Mr.
weighbridge.
Chairman, clarification. Clarification.
No, it was...
Clarification, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, clarification.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, I have two issues.
Please share that report
For the
with
road
us
mayor
now.
to
Somebody pick it.
clarify. Mr. Chairman, one, the originator of the budget of the authority should be the authority where the road mayor is the chairperson. So, what is the role of the authority, the council, to the budget? And what did they recommend? Did they recommend higher or purchase? That we want those evidence from the council to see if someone worked contrary to what council, the authority decided. That's one. Two, you have talked about safety. Can we get a police reference report? You have, at any time it came to your knowledge, you are accountable. You should have reported to police.
Yeah,
So the final point, Mr. Chairman, is that the cost of hire depends on when you will pay. If you hire and you are going to pay in the first quarter, it's different from when you are not going to pay within 6 months. So that one.
I think on the last one, either way it is balanced by the fact that you can buy on higher purchase terms. But just listen to this, the report that has been given to me, that in the year 2011-2012, Auditor General's report, two weighbridges, foreign relations, that you have your property stolen and found in another jurisdiction, in a neighboring jurisdiction. Now, we do not even know whether where they were sold is a facility managed by the government or by a private player like ours here. I think it is bigger than that. Frank Russo, would you call your CID officer who is handling this matter now? We will give you a minute to excuse yourself. Call that CID officer or the head to come here now. Wait. Not on this. Please do that. Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bend over here. Chair, can I? Thank you.
Honorable Kabulindi,
No.
I will manage the proceedings properly. Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've not gotten an opportunity to look at the report, but I would imagine after raising the issue, there is an explanation of the accounting officer. And Mr. Chairman, Article 164 of the Constitution is very clear on the matters of accountability. That even when the accounting officer ceases to hold the office, he can still be summoned to account. And Mr. Chairman, Article 9 of the Constitution and our rules of procedure gives us powers as a committee to summon any person. So, Chair, why don't we trace who was the accounting officer to come and account? As we summon the CIDs, who was the accounting officer by then, and why didn't the person come and account for that query, Mr. Chairman?
Ale?
Mr. Chair, I think to be helped, we need the auditors who identified the problem. Maybe they can be able to explain more. Because they'll be able to tell us how they got to know the problem, and I'm very sure they have the names. If they were able to know that the equipments cross the border from Uganda to
I think
Rwanda.
internally we are going to identify the auditors. Don't forget that the Auditor General is our staff. We will get there. You know, what is disturbing, first of all, is we want to know in which audit report that matter came up, Lord Mayor, which report was this?
2011, 2012. But it was specifically 2011.
So it means that the audit report of 2011-12 was only reviewed in 2025 by the CPAC.
Chair, it's a long story.
Yes.
For several years, we didn't have CPAC. Yes, there were fights against the constitution of the CPAC. At least since 2011, I've been around, and I've been struggling to have CPAC in place. Finally, it is in place. But that time, there was no CPAC.
So it is dealing with the backlog.
Exactly.
Who was the accounting officer at the time?
Chair, those were the days of impeachment.
No, but there was an accounting officer.
The accounting officer was Jennifer Semakula Musisi.
Good. Okay. I think before we even zero on whether to request the presence of the accounting officer, we want to look to read this report, including the Auditor General's report in issue. We would invite, therefore, Madam Jennifer Semakula Musisi, who was the director in charge of Chitezi, where the thing was lost? Because there was a director. She was the executive director. There was also a responsible director for the docket. Yes. During those days, for those who can remember, we can still find out. It's not a difficult thing to know.
Mr. Chairman, some clarification.
Yes, clarification.
Mr. Chairman, we are dealing with something that was addressed or should have been addressed in the Treasury Memorandum. And when you look at the Auditor General's report, when you look at the report on page, they indicate that
I want to open with you.
Page 35. Page 35, 4.3. Audit of the Treasury Memorandum.
Yes.
We would suspend this business because it is one of them. It is something that took place in the previous audit reports. So that we now have it, the whole of it, because 5 out of 14 were not implemented. That could have been one of them. Because if we now handle one piecemeal, we shall not get
yes,
an answer.
but supposing the Treasury Memorandum does not include this.
So this is where the Lord Mayor should give us a copy of the Treasury Memorandum.
A Treasury Memorandum from the Lord Mayor?
Yeah, because you see the Lord Mayor works with the minister, who is the policy manager.
No, it doesn't work that way. Treasury Memorandum is actually a responsibility of the Ministry of Finance.
Okay, but
yes.
You know the Lord Mayor is a politician.
Yes, but is a politician?
Yes.
You see,
for us to address this thing conclusively and effectively,
actually,
we need a copy of the Treasury Memorandum.
Honorable Kwizera, the Treasury Memorandum is a property of Parliament because it is given to us and is audited or is scrutinized by ourselves.
With your wisdom,
yeah, you're not lying.
Can you direct the clerk to avail to this committee Treasury Memorandum of this entity?
It is so done. Honorable Nkunyinji, but before that, Honorable Kwizera, when you look at page 35 where you referred us, you will find that the Auditor General says out of the 14 recommendations issued, 7 recommendations were fully implemented, 2 recommendations were partially implemented, while 5 were not implemented. And he gives a table. Management of the report of the Committee on Commissioned Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises for the financial year 2021-14. fully implemented 7, partially implemented 2, not implemented 5. Now this relates to those recommendations for the financial year 2021. It does not relate to the one which we are talking about of 11-12.
You see, Mr. Chairman, for us to be sure, let the Office of Auditor General show us a matrix of these partially implemented, fully implemented, and not implemented. The Auditor General should furnish this committee with those. And we find out, we convince ourselves that that is not one of them.
No. I want to make the context clear. That even if they gave you that very one that they are talking about here, which is very easy, and they can provide it, please provide it, it will not contain the issue that we are talking about. If PAC considered the issue we are discussing, that is PAC.
But it has been reoccurring, Mr. Chairman. It has been reoccurring because it was never resolved.
Okay, I was here last year. I did not hear about these 2 weighbridges. The point I am making, Honorable Kwizera, is that either these weighbridges would have been contained in the report of 2011-12 before Parliament, or that of the CPAC if CPAC existed then. So we are going to dig for the report of 2011-12, which I have already guided that they are avail us, and the report of Cosase then. I am not sure, actually. I was not on Cosase then, but we will get the report of Cosase then and see if it addressed the issue of the weighbridges. Honorable Kabulindi, you were part? It never came up. So, that's why I have called for CID to come here. Because apparently, this matter has been handled in a clumsy way. And now we want to see results.